Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Nicole Bautista, and today we're going to talk about understanding technology learners. Before we begin the discussion, I would like you to take a look at this picture. What do you see? You see books, desks, you see a map, and you see a chalkboard. This picture shows how we define education. When we think of education, we think of a teacher discussing, students listening, reading books, raising their hands, and behaving properly. Now take a look at this. Do they look familiar? Yes, those are apps. You see here Instagram, which we use for taking pictures, Google Chrome, which we use for researching. You see here the logo of Gmail, where we can send email messages, Messenger, which we use every day to chat with our friends, and YouTube, where we can watch videos, and lastly, Facebook, which we use almost every day to socialize and where we can do almost everything that I said. Did you know that 2,000 new websites are being created every hour? 35 hours of video are being uploaded every minute. 2 billion YouTube videos are being watched every day, and teenagers averagely have nearly 1,000 Facebook friends by the time they leave school. Why am I saying this? Because as teachers, if we still think of education as reading books, listening to teacher, then we'll be having a hard time dealing with our future students, because these students grew up with technology on their hands. These students grew up just watching and learning and listening to everything using their phones or tablets or laptops. And as teachers who used to study the traditional way, how do we deal with them? How do we deal with students who are so attached to technology? Here's a comic strip that I find really funny. In here, it shows a teacher, a history teacher, telling his students what a famous national leader tweeted. Yes, you heard it right and you can see it right. They're studying a tweet from a national leader. And I just included this in my presentation because I can imagine that someday this is how history teachers are going to teach. Before, we can only read about our past leaders, our national heroes, through textbooks, through recorded messages. But now, everything's on the internet. And I really don't see anything wrong with the previous comic because the 21st century learners spend much time talking to friends on their cell phones, sending text messages, interacting through social media, and playing video games and surfing the World Wide Web. So if our technology learners or 21st century learners spend so much time using their phone, so much time on the internet, then why not use the internet for our lessons, right? Technology learners consume, produce, and communicate information in different and previously unimaginable ways. Previously, we cannot imagine using the internet as a source of our lessons or education, but now, yes, we can. In classes, their attention, though, is questionable as they are uneasy to simply sit and listen. They become alive through video presentations, group activities, and computer classes. So the question is, since these kids grew up with technology, can we really blame them if they are having a hard time sitting in a lecture and just plain listening or just plain reading? Or as teachers, can we use this technology as our strength? As future educators and 21st century teachers, this is the ideal classroom. This is how we want our classes to look like. We want our students to have the freedom to explore technology. We want them to use their laptops. We want them to use monitors, to use their cell phones. We want them to explore as much as they want, as long as we can incorporate our subjects to it, as long as we can use it for our lessons. With various ways of what technology can do, our lessons could just be more fun than we can ever imagine. Just take a look at these pictures. The kids are having so much fun because they get to use something that they are so familiar with at school. If teachers would use apps, if teachers would use video games for school, then it's really nice because we can accommodate all types of learners. The auditory learners would enjoy, the visual learners, and the kinesthetic learners most of all. However, I don't want to stereotype or generalize here, but teachers today generally admit it or not, use the traditional education program applicable to learners of the past, especially here in the Philippines. Some teachers fail to realize that a new generation of the 21st millennium is not the kind of learner that they were. Sometimes as teachers, we think of ways on how we learn from our past teachers, and that's how we do it. Nothing wrong with that, especially if we really look up to those teachers before, but now is different because our students now are depending on technology to get information, depending on technology to learn or even be entertained. So as 21st century educators, we should be open to the fact that there are really a lot of positive benefits that information technology can do to our students, as well as us teachers. It makes our life a lot easier and our classes so much more fun. Daily exposure to high technology personal computers, video games, gadgets, cell phones, and internet sites stimulates the brain by strengthening and creating neural circuits. That's why sometimes if you're a teacher, if you notice, students become alive. They get so excited, like after listening to a discussion, after reading, and then you pop a video or you make them listen to something, they get so excited. Given the digital age today, psychologist Jean Piaget's traditional learning chart may have to be redefined. Even at a very early stage at preparatory school, computerized instruction are offered as digital tools. For example, in Piaget's theory of cognitive development chart, it states that children begin to use language by the time they turn 2 to 7. However, because of these children's apps or children's videos that can create like a sort of interaction with the kids, with the babies, as early as 1 or sometimes even before 1, children start talking already. Children begin to use language or imitate sounds based on what they can hear and what they can watch. Isn't that amazing? The bottom line is, yes, there are limitations. Yes, there are valid concerns which must be met. But we have to accept the fact that education is now connected to being able to use technology. This is the characteristic of professionalism in the world today. And a lot of students would be more skilled and would be more prepared to be professionals one day if we start developing them, if we start training them to learn using technology. And it produces multitaskers, okay? People or students who can multitask and who can do a lot of things because of how they learn from technology. There is a need, therefore, to balance the good and detrimental changes observed among learners of this information technology age. And as future educators, as 21st century teachers, we can start improving our lessons. We can start training these kids and teaching them skills by using technology ourselves. Here are some ideas that other countries have already tried in applying technology in their classes. And I hope one day we can do something like this here in the Philippines. For example, in South Korea, schools are switching to digital textbooks so that children can study anywhere and anytime, as long as online hours are recognized as attendance. In Denmark, students can use the internet while taking exams as long as they don't message each other and they don't search for the answers or use Facebook. In USA, students are allowed to create their individual schedules. In this schedule, their interests and performance are logged daily to generate a playlist of learning options. And the teachers' time are freed up to mentor and supervise students. So teachers are just facilitators of learners and just advisors, while the students have the power to, create learning on their own and control how they learn. The bottom line is learning can happen anywhere and everywhere. Thank God for technology. So that's all for today, and I hope you got something. Good luck with your classes. Thank you.